Hi everyone, welcome back to my next video. So today we want to talk about heaters. It's the middle of November right now when I'm shooting this, and winter's coming. I'm wearing my light jacket. We've had some real cold weather down into 30s, and all the people I've been camped with have been pulling out their heaters. And so today I want to talk about the Mr. Buddy little heater. This is the one. It's a little tiny heater. It has 3,800 BTUs, and I actually think this is about right for most minivans and vans. If it's really cold, this is not going to be enough. It won't keep you warm. You need much more heat than this will put out. But most of us in normal temperatures, maybe in the 30s, this thing works really well. The problem with this is the propane bottle itself is part of the stand. So that goes on there, and then it stands like this. Now, to my mind, putting this in your van or your minivan in the middle of your floor, that seems risky. It just seems like the slightest brush against it and it would go over. You have to give a certain amount of clearances. So the heat's coming out of here, and you have to keep everything that's flammable a certain distance away. Your manual will tell you, whatever your manual is when you buy this, uh, look it up. I think it's usually 20 inches, 2 feet more. And so that's really important because if it gets too close, this can actually just catch things on fire. That really does happen. And it's hard to get the clearances inside of a car. It's nearly impossible in a car, an SUV, but even in a minivan, it can be difficult. So the clearances are an issue, but mainly the big thing to me is just knocking it over. You just the slightest knock over and it's going over. Now it has a tip over protection. If it falls over and it's off level, it goes off. And that works. I don't know anyone who's ever had a problem with it, but I don't want to bet my life on that tip over protection switch. And beyond that, using green bottles is super expensive. These green bottles are about $3.50 each, and I've owned one of these, and it'll run about 5 hours on a green bottle. Well, if you run it 5 hours a day, that means you're going to burn a green bottle every day. That's $3.50 a day. Every 10 days, that's $35. You're looking at about $100 a month if you run 5 hours a day for 30 days, and that's quite a bit. That's because these green bottles only have 1 pound, and it's $3.50 per pound. Well, a 20-pound bottle holds 20 pounds. It's 5 gallons, 20 pounds. But it's about $3.50 a gallon. So it's $3.50, not even that. It's like $3 for a gallon. But you're getting a gallon instead of 1 pound. So there's like 4.1 or 4.2 pounds in a gallon. You get 4 of these for $3.50. Now that makes it a lot more realistic. You could run it for a whole month for a fourth of that $100, about $25 a month. Well, I'd gladly pay $25 a month to be able to run this thing, 5 hours a day for the whole 30 days. I could afford that. I would gladly do it. But we got to get rid of this green bottle because it's too expensive. How do you do that? And I have been thinking about this for years about different ways to get rid of the green bottle and have it to be safely stand and eliminate the tip over protection. Well, I haven't figured it out. I haven't been smart enough to figure it out. But I came across a guy who was, and this was actually in one of the reviews on Amazon.com. He reviewed this really highly, and he's explained how he converted it to a bulk bottles. And I thought, well, that's what I want to do. I want to convert this because that makes this a great heater for a lot of people. And in his review, he explained how, and I've done it, and I want to show that to you because it's a great thing. And thank you to I forget his name on Amazon who did that review. I want to show you how he did it. So the first thing you're going to need to convert this to a bulk bottle is an adapter hose. These are commonly available. Walmart sells them. They're usually around 20 bucks, different various brands. Mr. Heater makes its own brand. The company that makes the little buddy and the big buddy makes its own hose. This happens to be a Mr. Heater brand, and I think they're such high quality. I'd go with them. I think this is maybe 10 feet, 7 to 10 feet. I think it was a little more expensive than most. I think it was like 25, maybe even $30, but you can get them for 20. And you're also going to need a filter. This is a filter for the Mr. Buddy. And I'm not going to go into a long detailed explanation, but the bottom line is if you use a hose, you have to use a filter. And you can buy this filter on Amazon. The link will be for all this stuff will be below. You can buy this filter for, I think it's about 15 bucks on Amazon, between 10 and 15 bucks. You must use a filter. A really quick explanation is bulk bottles are using high pressure, and the high pressure leaches oils out of this hose, and the hose plug up the orifices on the heater. Now that doesn't happen with a green bottle because it's low pressure. It's already pressured down. So, and I'll show you how we're going to put all this together. But you need a stand. See, that's the problem, is the bottle is the stand. If we eliminate the green bottle, how are we going to make it stand? Well, I got this idea again from this gentleman on Amazon reviews. It's just a piece of plywood that I've made a stand on, and I've drilled a hole. I can see you right through this hole. So you can see the hole. The filter has a flange. This flange around it. Well, you put the filter through. Let's see. Can you see that? If I hold it that way, you put the filter through the hole, and the flange catches. See, the flange is caught by. It becomes the nut to the bolt, and the little buddy heater is the bolt. Let me see if I can get that a little better. So it sticks up, and then we're just going to screw the heater down onto it, and this will open the valve, and it'll draw from the hose. And then when that's done, we'll just screw the hose straight in. No, you can't see that. We'll just screw the hose straight into this. It works super well. I'm just amazed. This guy was very, very smart. And so you have to have a way for the hose to get out. So we left this gap. This is just a little scrap. I mean, this was the worst piece of wood I ever saw. It was really bowed and crap plywood. But so it was scrap. And I just grabbed this piece of scrap and built this. And this is just little pieces of wood that's screwed down into some more plywood. This is plywood, this is plywood. It's just screwed down, and then we screwed one time in to the end. It's structurally, this is very strong. This will never fail. Good grief. It's not holding any weight. But you'll see when I get it assembled that this thing is really strong. It cannot, I don't think it could ever fall over. And it works just as a brilliant, brilliant idea. So you need some plywood. You need to assemble this. And there was no magic about the dimensions. This was just what looked. We played it by ear, and you'll see a bunch of this happening. We'll show you some assembling it, and then you're going to have a jigsaw to drill out to cut out this hole. So you'll see me jigsawing this out. I did a really poor job. I should have. When you jigsaw something, you always want to do it too small, because if you take off too little, you can always take off more, but you can't add it back on. So this is, let's see, how am I going to do this? That is 2 1/4. So this is a 2 1/4, and I think I would do it a little bit less, and then round it out again if I needed to get some more. But it works just fine. It pops right through here. But it's too much play. That's too much play. So I would definitely make this a little smaller. This is going to work fine. And if you do a little sloppy job like I did, it's still going to work just fine. And let me show you the plywood we're using. That's 3/4. So you need a 3/4 inch piece of plywood. So the plywood that you drill the hole through and the nut goes through with the filter is 1/2 inch. That's what you need. So this is 13 by 12, although I think 12 by 12 would have been just as fine as well. Once you've built this, you hold you just hold that through, and you screw it in. And then I aimed it forward so that, and I didn't put it in the middle. I aimed it forward so that you can see that the long part is over the front end. So the board comes out above it. So it's not going to tip over this way. And because there's so much extra weight up front, it's not going over. This isn't falling over at all. You'd have to really abuse this to make it fall over. This is very secure and steady. It's not just falling over. It's a little loose. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little rattly in there, but that's the way it has to be, because I found that if I secured it tightly and I put in a gasket so it would secure tightly, it wouldn't seat inside the filter. It has to be a little loose. So you want to find exactly a 1/2 inch piece of plywood. And then once you've done that, you just assemble this like you would any other way. And you put this in, you just screw this into here. So there it is, finished. It's just attached like that. The hose runs out like that, out through the side. You can do it front or back. That's why I left that like that, the opening. One of the advantages to having it 13 by 12 is when this is disassembled for this and you're carrying it, then it will all just kind of sit down inside the box, taking up kind of a minimum amount of space. To test this out, I've loaned it to a friend of mine, Barbara, who's here now, and she's using it in her Honda minivan. And so how's that working for you so far in your minivan?
Excellent. This setup makes it very sturdy and safe. I have it on the floor, and it's working wonderfully. I was listening to you share about leaving it on for an extended period of time. I've only been using it for 5 minutes at a time because it warms up the minivan, really well, and so I turn it off. But then about an hour and a half later, I turn it back on. So I may try it at a longer extended time and see how that works. But no, this is totally safe. When I had this setup where this was attached to this, I did not feel safe. Um, and when you turn it on, when it's up like this setup, I was having to hold this plus turn it on at the same time, and my hair is right in it, my face is right in it, and it's just not safe.
So you can see it's in her minivan, her little Honda. One thing you want to be very careful is clearances, because you can't have any flammable materials anywhere near it. And I think you're okay here. But it doesn't take up much space here. There's the hose running back. And she can tuck that away. It's plenty long. And there's her bolt bottle back there. We'll need to get that secured down. And you want a carbon monoxide detector.
Right.
Everyone with any propane burning appliances should have a
And
carbon monoxide detector.
the
So I hope you'll consider this and this will work for you and you'll give it some thought and maybe try it. Let me know down in the description if you do try it. Let me know how it works for you, and I think it'll work great. And we'll hear from Barbara again in a month. This will be a long-term test in a few months, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, probably at least a few months.
Right.
And we'll know this is a good idea or bad idea. We'll all find out together. So leave a comment below, and if you try it, make sure you let us know how it worked for you. So, folks, there you have it. I think this is a great idea. It will work really well. I hope it does. And if it did, if you got anything out of this video, then like us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll talk to you later.